But our next guest joining us in the studio has been in the UAE for quite some time. Jon Guntley is the Chief Transformation Officer for the TopSpin Sports Centre. It's located in Jadaf. They've got 10 paddle, 7 tennis courts in the facility. It's a great place to get down there and play tennis, but also be a part of this rising growth that is paddle. Jon, thank you very much for joining us here on TSB.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me, guys. Well, pleasure to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you on. I tell the story, Neil's heard it a few times, that when I first came here in 2019, I was looking around at a few apartments and I went to one in the marina and I saw the tennis court and I was like, what's wrong with your tennis court? You don't have any doubles tracks? Oh, it's paddle.
It's too small.
It's too small. And I've never heard of it and never heard of this sport, paddle, and it's just taken off. It's one of these sports that seems to be loved by, it doesn't matter what your age, whether you're male, female, everyone wants to be a part of it in Dubai.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, it's a new sport when you compare it to other racket sports such as tennis, which goes back centuries, and we can argue whether the French or the English invented it. We'll leave that for
what do you think?
another day.
What do you think?
Well, the English invented it, obviously. Yeah. And then obviously paddle was invented, let's say, if you want to call it that, in Mexico in I think the late 60s. So it's a relatively new sport in the sense of that, and obviously it's kicked off massively in various parts of the world, Europe, Spain, South America, and obviously now its next stop off was here in the UAE. So it's growing like things do here.
What makes paddle such a unique, puts paddle in such a unique proposition, wherein the growth spurt has been just phenomenal. Other sports take time; they grow slowly. Paddle has just boom up right there.
It has. I mean, part of the growth certainly here, I think, obviously with Sheikh Hamdan taking it up, and that obviously is a big push with the community here when they see someone like him playing it. They obviously respect his interest in it and want to follow the same, such as even skydiving and things like that, which is not my cup of tea, so I won't be jumping out of a plane. But I think one of the main reason it's kicked off and has grown so fast is, and I hate to say it because I'm from a tennis background myself for my whole life, paddle's a lot easier to play. If you put 4 beginner adults on a tennis court, tennis is a tough sport to play. They're not going to come away from that enjoying that hour amongst their friends, whereas paddle is much easier to play from that level. So it's easier to pick up, it's more fun, it's more sociable, and that really is the key to it.
It's more like outdoor table tennis.
You could refer it to that.
In some way that everyone likes to have a hit of table tennis.
Yeah, even if you don't know how to play, you'll just try and return.
Exactly. Technique is kind of out the window with table tennis and almost paddle to a degree. It's much easier that you can just sort of bunt the ball over the net and get on with it. I mean,
you mentioned the influence of the royal family, and we've seen, with the Dubai Fitness Challenge, the 30 for 30, there's a lot of free lessons that have been handing out by some places.
There's a lot. Yeah, I mean, we offered a lot as well when people were coming down and picking up a paddle racket for the first time. And that's a good way of promoting the sport in the city, and I respect the 30-30 fitness challenge. It's a great initiative, and every year it gets better, and it's good for health in general in the city. So,
but tell me something. Paddle, tennis, all pretty much similar sports. I wouldn't say same. The effort level that tennis requires is way lot. The amount of training that you require in tennis is a lot more. Has the the introduction of paddle reduce the number of people who have started taking up tennis, or the ones who used to go to tennis are now moving to paddle?
To be honest, I've noticed a small change in, let's say, adults that are playing tennis since they've taken up paddle, again, because of that social aspect.
Right.
What hasn't really made much of a transition to paddle is the younger generation. That seems to have stuck with tennis. There are obviously some youths out there that are playing paddle, but generally I think it's more of a social adult game that people obviously have picked up and are enjoying more. Like I said, in tennis, the serve itself is the toughest shot in the game, in my opinion, to master. And if you can't serve, you can't really have a game. Paddle, just underarm, bun it over, and you're in, and game on. So it's much easier.
Well, that's the one thing. How many social tennis players have got a great forehand, maybe an average backhand, and the serve is non-existent?
That's very common. That's why you need lessons on
when you speak about taking the lessons, you can check out the website if you want to. It's topspin.ae. If I'm looking to start playing paddle, what do I need? Just ordinary gym gear, and when it comes to the racket, how much should I be spending for a first racket?
Right, well, to be honest, to start with, I mean, most centres, ours included, you can come and rent rackets, or you can try out rackets and things there, so you really don't need anything. Just bottle of water, your kit, and you're good to go, and everything else is provided for you on site. With regards to what you should spend as a first racket, depends obviously how keen you are to take it up and how regular. You can get them for sort of anywhere between 400 and 800 dirhams for a starter one, and obviously you can go 1,000 plus for an advanced one, but that obviously is after you've mastered the game and need it. I mean, it's not like a racket which has a different feeling on the strings. You hit a ball with a tennis racket, the ball goes flying. With a paddle racket, you've got a little bit more of a cushion on it. That's what makes it easier as well in a confined space to play, is not the balls flying everywhere out the court like you're in a big open space.
Right, so the entry barrier is lesser, if I were to understand that. I can just get up one day, I feel like I collect three of my mates, 4 of us, head to the paddle court, rent the rackets, and you go through. How much would an average group of 4 spend if I want to play, say, an hour?
See, that's the thing as well. So with 4 of you, splitting the cost of a court rental, including rackets and balls and everything you need, you're looking at anywhere from sort of outdoor centres like ourselves from sort of 200 dirhams, so that's 50 each.
Wow.
And you're in for an hour, up until anywhere up to sort of 400 for indoor, which obviously during the summer is very popular.
Right.
But now, the weather's great, everyone's looking to be outdoors and play any time of the day. Yeah, 50, 60 dirhams tops for a good hour of paddle and fun.
When it looks on the surface of it, you're thinking, why hasn't this game been taken up a lot earlier by a lot of people? Obviously, tennis is so indoctrinated in so much culture and the way we watch and the way we play. And you're saying that younger generations still want to play tennis, probably because they're seeing the heroes on TV. They're watching Wimbledon and the like, unlike paddle. But one of the other things you do there at Topspin is dodgeball. Now, you laugh as soon as I said it. We've all seen the movie with Ben Stiller.
Yep.
But I actually know some of the guys who made it to the Dodgeball World Championships representing Australia. A lot of people take this very seriously.
Yeah, we're not taking it that seriously. This is just an additional activity we throw into any camp. So any sort of winter camps, Easter camps, we try to mix it up a little bit to try to keep the kids active for an entire morning. We don't want to just get them only tennis for one thing and become a little bit repetitive, and honestly for the coaches it would be tough to keep certain ages entertained for such a long period of time.
Oh yeah, you've got to find a way to tire them out.
Exactly. So look, just to break it up and obviously throw something different in there. You can take a net down on a tennis court and do anything you like with it. Some five-a-side football, some dodgeball, anything you like. So that's something that we throw in.
How is your dodgeball?
My dodgeball's all right. There's been a few occasions in the past where I've taken a couple of kids out, but but to tell their parents very sorry, they need to move a bit faster.
I think dodgeball's underrated as a workplace morale boosting thing. So I think more corporates need to get involved in dodgeball.
No, I mean, what I do is normally whenever I go to the uni and we have a training session going on there, I get the boys and girls in and we have a gameplay with literally no rules dodgeball.
Oh wow!
You can literally
prison rules.
hit anyone you want and hit as hard as you want to.
So it's a free for all.
It's free for all. And see, this is what brings up the camaraderie. You realize who hates who is looking out for the other one, and after that good 20-30 minute session, they all go back in the same room and then sit down, chill, study.
Love it.
It comes back. But tell me something. You've played tennis. You've been a coach. If you were to decide that I have to just coach one kid. Okay, tennis or paddle? As a coach, what would give you more pleasure?
I'm going to have to say tennis, I think, only because of my background. And honestly, from a paddle perspective, because I haven't done a lot or very little at all on paddle coaching, that I would only be able to take that kid to a certain degree, which is just hit the ball over the net, and that's me done then. The rest of it I don't know. Whereas tennis, I've been at Wimbledon with players before in the past, so I can take them to an international level. Whereas paddle, not international.
Well, if you were going to coach, I'll ask you a question without notice. If you were coaching Nick Kyrgios right now, how would you coach him?
You know what? When he's been here in Dubai, I've actually had a friend of mine who was a hitting partner for him, and he rocked up on court wearing his Jordans, and he started hitting in the boxes, still wearing his Jordans, before he then went back to the baseline and then hit a few from the back of the court, then got changed into his tennis shoes after about the first 15-20 minutes. So he's very relaxed, so I'd enjoy it. I think we'd have a laugh, but if I was his coach looking to get him to put it together on the court, he's obviously got to do it in the head. So that's
he needs a head coach.
Yeah, that's what he needs. He's got the talent, he's got the gift. He just needs to get his head sorted and And he's there.
Work it out from there. Well, if you do want to get more details, you can now. The academy is the TopSpin Sports Centre. It's located at Jadaf, 10 paddle, 7 tennis courts. They're conducting camps there for kids 4 to 14 years from the 12th to the 23rd of December. They run from 9 till 12, and as you heard John say, a lot of tennis, a lot of paddle, a lot of dodgeball as well sometimes to break it up. Jon Guntley, the Chief Transformation Officer, thanks for coming in and joining us here on TSB.
Thank you very much for having me, guys.